I'm Calvin Corzine, and I'm here at the Alo flagship store in Beverly Hills. So today's class is going to be a very short format, 10 minutes, and I'm going to give you 3 kind of strength building moves to help you get into your inversions and your more advanced poses that will help you progress a little faster in your home practice. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a ton of new content that we pump out all the time, and let's hop into it. So the 3 strength building exercises we're going to do to help you with your inversions are going to be mainly geared towards handstand today. And it's going to be a front body line drill, a back body line drill, and then some plank stuff and some hand work that I find pretty much very helpful for me. So the body line drill is when we see a lot of people do their inversions, their handstands in yoga, they tend to kind of sit in the lower back. They have a problem with the tilt of the pelvis. So the body line work will help to even that out, to work towards achieving a straighter line, kind of more like a gymnastics-ish handstand. So we'll start with the back body line drill. And essentially what you'll do is you'll lay down on your back. And naturally there's a little tilt in the pelvis. There's the arch of the low back. And we don't want to fully get away from that, but we're steering towards just teaching the body how to be straight. So essentially, the floor is a straight line, and that's a great guide because it's a lot easier to achieve that straight line than standing up against a wall. So what you'll do here is you'll take your feet just barely off the floor, and you'll point the toes. And then you'll reach the arms back, and you'll notice just naturally the back kind of pulls away from the floor. It just wants to do that, especially if you have tighter shoulders. So what you're going to do is reach your arms and your legs up to the ceiling. And when you do that, you'll start to notice that your mid-back is able to press into the floor. So now we turn on the abdominals. Squeeze your belly in. I'm not going to give you any complex instructions about it. Just draw in. And then you're going to take your legs halfway down and your arms halfway back. And my head is in the floor, but also my back ribs are able to stay against the floor. And you're going to breathe. And then very slowly, you're going to just start to lower closer and closer to the floor. For most of us, you'll hit a point maybe around here where the back ribs start to lift off the floor, and maybe not. Direct the tailbone towards the back of the heels. So essentially, you kind of tuck the pelvis a little bit, and you're going to go as close to the floor as you can, keeping the back ribs on the floor. And you can see it's really hard because I'm shaking and I have to talk while I'm doing it, which makes it even harder. Reach through the arms and legs, squeeze the abdominals in, and you can actually see the back body able to stay against the floor. And then you're going to breathe. So your homework when you're not doing this class is to try to do this for a minute at a time. Maybe do 3 sets of 1 minute. Obviously take a break between. Reach through the arms, reach through the legs, and release it. So that's the first. That's the back body line drill. Now that same body line in the back applies to the front side. So the front body line drill we'll be doing is going to be on your stomach. And so, naturally, you'll have the head down because the line in the neck, if you're sticking your head forward looking straight down at the floor, it just causes too much. We want to eventually have the head dropped in our handstand practice. So the forehead will go down. And then if you were to reach your arms and your legs, usually there's the arch in the back. We tend to just kind of sit there, especially if you have tighter shoulders. So the goal is to lift the belly off the floor. As you tuck the tailbone or tuck the pelvis and direct the tailbone forward, pressing the feet into the floor. Eventually you can take this front body line drill into a wall upside down, but we're going to start on the floor. So you'll see right here, I have my feet on the floor, my forehead on the floor, my arms on the floor. I'm going to start with my arms on the floor. Once I'm in it, I'm actually going to lift up. So the legs, I press down, the pelvis presses into the floor, and my goal is now to lift the stomach off the floor. And if you pay attention to the line in the mid-back, it goes from this heavy arch, or an arch in general, to straight. And that's what we want in our handstand practice. So I'm pressing the feet down. Everything's engaged, and the arms come up, and I pull the belly in. I'm reaching the toes, I'm reaching the fingers, I'm wrapping the outer arms, and naturally as the body wants to sit here, I'm working not to let that happen. And then lower down. So same thing. You mix your front body and your back body line drill. 1 minute, 3 rounds each time. So now you've got some homework to do with that. So once you're upside down, that's a lot of what we're trying to achieve in our handstand practice. But I also think that there's one very important overlooked exercise to build the strength to work your deeper inversions, but really your handstand, because I feel like a lot of it stems from that. And that's plank pose. And when I personally like to teach all the arm balances and the handstands, I like to use this description of the hands. I just call it handstand hands. But essentially, if you're standing up, and at home you can feel free to stand up, your feet are moving the whole time. So it's not like you stand on your feet and they're just chilling doing nothing. There's muscles firing everywhere to keep you balanced. If the wind blows, your feet have to adjust to keep you upright. And I think that people lose sight of that when they're in handstand. So essentially, if you think of the balance in the hands as a sweet spot between the fingers and the heel of the hand, if your hand is totally stretched out and flat and you're not able to do anything with the hands, then how are you supposed to balance on them? It just makes it so much harder. So I like to say bend the fingers a little bit so that you can kind of play with the weight in the hands. And as you've already done the front and back body line drills, we're now going to have you do plank, and you're going to work the hands of a handstand or an arm balance. So you'll set the hands up, spread your fingers wide, have your fingers straight, and then adjust them a little bit. Just pull the fingers in a little bit so you're able to feel like you hold the floor a little bit more, and straighten the legs. So this first hold we're going to do here, we're just going to do for about 30 seconds or so. Firm the upper arm, press the hand down. You can see the fingertips and the hands working here. And then I'm tucking the pelvis under a little bit, looking for a little bit more of that straight line in the back body that we worked to achieve in our line drills earlier. My legs are super active, and I breathe. But the arms are straight, they're stable, everything's set up. And being able to hold something like plank pose for 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, is definitely a precursor to being able to hold your entire body on your hands. So with the feet down, if you can't hold this, it's not very logical to think that you're going to be able to hold your entire body weight in the hands. So come on down. And just check in with the hands. Were you stable? Were you steady? Do you need to turn the hands out? Those of you with wrist issues, maybe you turn the hands out a little more in a gymnast fashion. And then we're going to do one more round of this. And we're just going to step it up a little bit more and make it a little bit harder. So you can stick with that regular plank. I would say you've already got the homework of doing 3 sets of front body, 3 sets of back body, and 3 sets of plank. And I'd say maybe do it for like a minute or so at home. But with the feet, most of us, when we achieve that straight body line, or when you are able to get towards it in your handstand practice, we tend to reach a lot through the feet. So instead of having the toes curled under like a normal plank, we're going to put the feet in upward facing dog. So you're reaching through the legs as you're sending the chest forward. You're able to use the fingertips, firm the upper arm, and then you breathe. The belly's pulling in. So we're really kind of putting everything together here, just with the feet on the floor. And then just kind of notice when your body maybe wants to sink the hips or lift higher. Really work to achieve a pretty straight line from feet through shoulders, shoulders through feet. Firm the upper arm, keep the hand pressing down. Stay here a little bit longer. And then come on down. So these are our 3 different strength building drills for you to help work towards getting up into your handstand or eventually into your more advanced postures. Thanks so much for tuning in.